Okay? Because again, cameras. Thank you very much. So after you do that, the preference song that last song, when you came up, the preference song, they were just called A flat. There are many. There are many, many schools in the East and in the West. Sometimes you may be questioned as to which one is the best. If you really want to know, there is one that will stand out. It's here on Bennett College, that's the school you'll hear about. Some prefer to go to Spelman, others A&T. Some say it's Talladega, others Johnson C. But Bennett College is the best, girls can tie your colors bright. Raise your voices in a cheer, girls, for a dear old blue and white. Rah, rah, rah. Some prefer to go to Spelman, others A&T. Some say he's a Talladega, others Johnson C. Bennett College is the best, girls can tie your colors bright. Raise your voices in the cheer, girls, for the dear old blue and white. Rah, rah, rah. And that's why it's written in a higher, it's much higher, it's easier to see this. Okay. Yeah, and so the second time we speak of the psalm, first of the second time. Okay, so let's try it. All right. So give me dum, 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 dum. Schools in the East and in the West. There are many, many schools in the West. There are many, many schools. There are many, many schools in the East and in the West. So maybe I'll just start it.
Did you get the music to it? I left it on the piano in the classroom.
The one we just played?
Yeah, but it's in another key, so if you just want to look at it.
How you doing? Okay.
I haven't been up there. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Danny, they're coming over here? Where are they sitting at? Hey, man. How you doing? Good morning.
That's not even our mic. That's not our mic. It's too. Is it up there? Yeah, I think it's up there.
everyone. Good morning. If you would, please take your seats. The program will begin shortly. As you're finding your seats, please enjoy the Bennett College Choir under the direction of Dorothea Taylor. Thank you.
We are daughters, honey.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today to be with us. Right now, I would like to bring up the president of Bennett College, Dr. Phyllis Worthy Dawkins.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. It is such a great day. Can you believe this weather? It's just amazing. It's a great day. I am Dr. Phyllis Worthy Dawkins, the 18th president of Bennett College. It truly warms my heart to see all of you here today, and especially our students, our current students, and to welcome some of you back to Bennett, and for some of you, if it's your first time, welcome to Bennett. We are a 146-year-old institution that has a rich legacy of producing outstanding women, women who go on to be leaders in their fields, including STEM, politics, as my trustee here is in politics, law enforcement and communications, and the humanities and other liberal arts programs. Before I continue, please join me in giving the Bennett College Choir, led by alumna Dorothy L. Taylor, a round of applause. Our choir always performs in an exceptional manner, and we appreciate them for blessing us with their beautiful voices today. So it goes without saying that this is a very special day in the life of Bennett College. So on behalf of the Bennett trustees, our faculty, staff, students, and alumni, thank you for joining us as we announce the outcome of our Stand With Bennett campaign. My staff, by the way, told me not to wear my shirt today, try to look presidential. But I've been wearing this shirt so much, I do have four, so it's not the same ones. I do wash them every other day. But this has been a wonderful campaign, the Stand With Bennett campaign. I cannot tell you how many text messages, telephone calls, and emails I received over the weekend asking whether Bennett was successful in meeting our goal of raising $5 million by February 1st. I think everyone in the nation knew about that February 1st deadline, but yet the checks are still coming in even as I walked in, so I'm so appreciative. I'm sure Bennett students, faculty and staff, board members, and alumni have gotten asked that same question numerous times in the past few days. I guess you could say it's the 64 million question. I don't have $64 million, okay? But I wish I did. Well, we will answer the question a bit later during this press conference. For now, I would like to say that Bennett College is eternally grateful to the more than 11,000 donors, okay, from across the United States. These 11,000 donors donated money to us during our Stand With Bennett campaign. People like the North Carolina Central University graduate who was furloughed during the government shutdown, but still made a contribution to Bennett. Also, the Irwin Montessori students from right here in Greensboro who collected about $72 in quarters to help us out. We appreciate the woman who earned degrees from 3 HBCUs and has no ties to Bennett, but contributed 3 times for a total of $1,400. We're very thankful. We're grateful to one of our first donors, to J. Klein Warren. He's a graduate of North Carolina A&T. He contributed $100,000 within days of his passing. Mr. Klein said he contributed so heavily to Bennett Can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay, I'll continue to talk. Mr. Klein said he contributed so heavily to Bennett because while he was a student at North Carolina E&T, he was considering dropping out because of financial reasons. Until then, Bennett President Dr. David Dallas Jones found him a job on campus, and we certainly appreciate this gift. We also appreciate the man who walked into the business office last week, just off the street, with a $20 bill. Really, I really appreciate every gift. And when he gave us the gift, he said he didn't want to leave his name. Or the man that walked into the office this morning and just put a $100 check in my hand. I'll go, wow, okay? Those are the types of grassroots gifts that we have received. He said he just wanted to help save Bennett. Those are only a few of the heartwarming stories that we are collecting that I just want to share. So as you may imagine, there are too many more for me to recount at this time. Just know we appreciate each and every gift that we were given, no matter how small or how large. What matters most is that every dollar counts towards our goal. So what matters most is that people gave, and they gave from their heart. The outpouring of love and support that Bennett received during this campaign is just amazing. It's amazing. Some might even call it a miracle. So with that, I'm going to bring forward Reverend Jamal Bryant, and he will give us the invocation.
Nobody said the road would be easy, but I don't believe he's brought us this far to leave us now. Regrettably, we are learning from Pennsylvania Avenue what bad leadership looks like. But we're learning from the president of Bennett College what good leadership is supposed to look like. I want to extend high commendation for her being a model for all of us. She doesn't know how relieved I am to give the invocation because my office told me I was doing the offering. So I was trying to figure out how I was going to raise $5 million in this chapel. So that was going to be the real miracle of the day. I want to take a point of personal privilege amongst all of those who are going to stand before you today. I am the only one on program who's a Morehouse brother of the Bennett brothers. I came to represent all of your brothers, just to let you know that we stand with you, we protect you, we're praying for you. And Frederick Douglass said, I got more prayers answered when I got off my knees. So our actions have to speak louder than our words. The worst is behind and the best is yet to come. Let's pray, please. Would you take your neighbor by the hand? God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, you are the only one who's brought us thus far along the way. Thank you, dear Lord, that while others were trying to build a wall, you built a bridge. Thank you that you still let miracles happen in 2019. That yesterday, while the world watched the lowest scoring game in Super Bowl history, we realized that it's a low time in our country. 800,000 furloughed workers don't know where their mortgage is going to come from. It's a low time in our country. When there are only 2 remaining institutions that service and educate black women and one of them was in danger. It's a low time in our country. When morale is down and people no longer exercise their faith, it's a low time in this country. But God, we came today believing you're going to score a touchdown, because in you there is no failure. I pray, dear Lord, that you will take this moment to exceed our expectation, enlarge our faith, and push the race forward. Thank you for every Bennett Bell out of the past, the ones who are in the present, and we thank God for the women who are coming in the future. It is out of the womb of Bennett College that will be the next Stacey Abrams, Kamala Harris, Michelle Obama, Oprah Winfrey. We thank you that out of this campus will be the first black governor for the state of North Carolina. We thank you that we believe that these young ladies will be history makers and world changers. 5 million is a small thing for a big God. And God, we've seen you take 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread and feed 5,000. And you promised that even greater things than these will you do. Now, God, we step back and we watch you do what you do. Perform a miracle. In Jesus' name, amen.
Pastor Jamal Bryant needs no introduction. I must say, however, the new Birth Missionary Baptist Church was the first faith-based organization to lead our effort to make a donation to Bennett College after we launched our campaign. I must also note that Pastor Bryant and his team, they have kept working for us. I hear from Zach almost every day.
Yes.
You know, one of his directors?
Yes.
Okay. And they have been working on our behalf beyond the faith-based group, reaching out to foundations, corporations, and individuals. So to that, I want to give them a hug. Now we will have greetings from the Board of Trustees by Board Chair Dr. Gladys Ash Robinson. After Trustee Robinson's speech, you will hear from Gwendolyn McElrice, President of the Bennett College National Alumni Association.
Friends who have struggled with us, friends who have prayed with us, friends who gave, and friends who have come to celebrate with us, we greet you in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ today. The one who created this place where Negro women could be educated. We welcome you to this sacred place, a sacred place where young women of color, Bennett College, are cherished, empowered, and educated. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Bennett College, we thank you for struggling with us and staying with us and praying with us on a journey that has led us to this day of rejoicing. To our guests, who will be named later, clergy from local, state, national communities, elected officials, local, state, and national leaders from everywhere, college presidents. President Quabain, I single him out because he's my friend, extra friend, with a big dollar mark today. Chancellor Martin and UNC Chancellors Frank, and you are as well too, but I have to pull Nito aside today. Our special donors, who will be named later, we thank you and we welcome you to Bennett College. I'm a Bennett Bell class of 1971. I want to acknowledge our Board of Trustees. Would you stand, please? Our trustees have worked, they have walked, they have begged, they have fundraised, and they have supported our president. Some of us have been on a journey the last 52 days since New Orleans, where we saw Chancellor Martin, from darkness to daylight. And we thank you, one and all. We thank our faculty and staff for supporting the college but especially for your support of these wonderful young women, these exciting Bennett Bells. And we thank our students for their determination. For one day they will remember, I was there. Yes, I was there. And as a previous president of the National Alumni Association, I appreciate the yeoman's work and fundraising of our alums, those who have worked and been faithful in their financial gifts for so many years, especially now. It is with great pride that we acknowledge and we thank the president of Bennett College, Dr. Phyllis Worthy Dawkins, for her tenacity, for her determination, her toughness, her passion, and her hard work on this long, long journey. And so even though we raised maybe over $5 million, we want to present you 50 red roses. Thank you. It's my pleasure also to acknowledge some special people who journeyed with us. And you've heard some of them, but I share with you that in the latter 60s when I was a student here at Bennett College, I ventured into the community and made friends with folk who believed in Bennett then and now, that it's our responsibility to educate young people. You know, Nelson Mandela said that education is the most powerful weapon with which you can use to change the world. These friends of Bennett sat at the dinner table on New Year's Day and said, Gladys, we can't lose Bennett College. So what can we do? While others around the country care, we who are in Greensboro, who have grown up with Bennett, they said, must let others know that we stand with Bennett and we support Bennett. And so from that table discussion at the home of Lewis Brandon, where we gathered each New Year's Day with our children and grandchildren and friends, Nelson and Joyce Johnson, we began a movement that culminated in local clergy of all races joining together with others, putting a beautiful page of ads in the front of the Carolina Peacemaker that featured our students along with community, along with the Greensboro News Record. They issued a clarion call to the Greensboro community to stand with Bennett College. This along with an op-ed in the News and Record telling Bennett's story and plans for re-engineering by our community leaders, written by Supreme Court Justice, North Carolina Supreme Court Justice Henry Fry, former UNC President Tom Ross, founder of Guilford County Education Alliance, Margaret Arbuckle, and yours truly. I want those ministers, everybody of the faith community in our area, would you stand? Because you have undergirded us, you have prayed for us, you have taken collections, and you are why we are here as well. You know, this work built on her story, where Martin Luther King was able to come to Bennett College and speak when others would not allow him. And so Martin Luther King holiday became a Bennett Day, where bells marched in the parade in 19-degree weather, where bells were welcomed by local clergy to tell their stories, and where bells were featured at every service in this community to talk about Martin Luther King, but more importantly, not more importantly, but as important, to talk about Bennett College. Martin Luther King would have wanted us to do so, and we did. Faith communities across this community, state, and nation, we say thank you. Bennett began in the basement of Old Warnersville United Methodist, now St. Matthew's United Methodist Church. And now we raise you up in the highest sanctuaries of all, from Bennett's Chapel to the chapel of our sister university, High Point University. We raise you up as a sacred place that is preserved and sustained for other young sisters to come and learn and live. Frederick Douglass said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. We thank you, Lord, for the struggle that began before December 11th, that has led us to a new day in the life of Bennett College. This is an opportunity also for me to share with you that the Board of Trustees has established a path forward. The Bennett College Re-Engineering Committee, that over the next 4 to 5 months is charged with positioning the college for the long term, for long-term sustainability. The committee is comprised of national leaders in fields of business, leadership, higher education, data analysis, and so on. The board will make a public announcement of those individuals later. Finally, I close my greeting with the verse that begins and sustains me throughout each day. Proverbs 3 and 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your path straight. Thank you, Lord, for straightening the path of Bennett College towards her re-engineered future. We celebrate Bennett College. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Robinson, for those wonderful remarks. Good morning. Good afternoon. My name is Gwendolyn Mackel Rice, from the proud class of 1961, and the proud president also of the Bennett College National Alumni Association. It is my joy and delight to bring greetings on this beautiful day that the Lord has made. And I bring you greetings on behalf of the alumni of Bennett College. And I ask that each of you stand right now. You may be seated. We thank each of you present here today for being with us here in person, through live stream, and in spirit. From the depths of our hearts, we thank you for your spirit of giving. You knew that Bennett could not close. You may have experienced the impact of a Bennett woman on your life as your mother, as your spouse, as your sister, as your friend, as your church member, as your employee, or your employer, or any other capacity. You may have heard the many testimonies of their love for Bennett, especially on social media. So you understood the Bennett difference, and you gave, and you gave, and you gave, and you continue to give. And the alumni of Bennett College, thank you. As alumni, we did not think we could appreciate and love Bennett College more than we have loved her for much of our lives. The thought of losing her was more than one could bear, and today we have demonstrated that we would not bear it. This has truly been a team effort from our trustees under the leadership of Chair Gladys Robinson and the faculty and staff under President Dawkins. We thank you all for your hard work and forbearance. I want to express our special gratitude to our students, our little sisters, for your perseverance, your fundraising efforts, and especially to your SGA president, whose voice is under the weather today, for her grace and eloquence during this period of time, Alexis Branch. Thank you to the Institution Advancement Team under the leadership of LaDaniel Gatlin, who worked with us to get the word out and bring our gifts in. We owe a deep sense of gratitude to our college liaison, Director of Alumni Affairs and Alumna Audrey Demps Franklin. There she is in the back. There she is in the back. To our National Alumni Association campaign, our executive board, and that includes our chapter presidents, our Next Gen campaign team, and Next Gen stands Next Generation of Bennett Bells, our prayer team under the leadership of our chaplain, Sister Chaplain, Natalie McLean, and other sister clergy. And they called in last night. They weren't supposed to have it, and people still called in to pray. So they called me, says, what happened? So anyway, but we thank you all. You have always stood with Bennett College, and we know that nothing can or will stop us now. We also know that you will continue to give and to serve our alma mater, and that you will do so now as never before. We have so much work to do. The National Alumni Association is committed to the work necessary to shift upward the paradigm expressed in a recent article in The Atlantic about Bennett College, HBCUs, and America. Bennett was created in mighty turbulent times. Bennett alumni know what it will take to be a solid, stable, secure, present, and powerful institution. For those who are privileged to serve Bennett, we will walk with you to do the work to serve, shape, and stabilize Bennett. In our hearts, we bells know, as sealed in our hearts from the traditional benediction, and I paraphrase, because we are children of God, that the Lord would be mindful of us. The Lord has and will continue to bless us. Again, thank you all.
The next person that you will hear from is Shawnee McMichael. I have used her in every interview that I've had. So we flew her down this morning from New York. Shawnee is a graduate student at Columbia University. So I want to bring Shawnee forward, okay, to talk to you about her journey here at Bennett College.
Afternoon. Come on, y'all. Good afternoon. All right, we have to be excited. My name is Shawnee McMichael. I'm from Dayton, Ohio, and I am a recent 2018 graduate of Bennett College. So when I first came to Bennett, I had a 2.3 GPA. I had no idea of how I was going to pay for college. I had no money in my pocket, nor did I have the understanding of who I was as an African-American woman in this world. But Bennett College took a chance on me, and it's because of that chance that I was able to travel to 3 different countries at no expense. I was able to graduate debt-free. I was able to graduate with a 3.9 GPA, making me the valedictorian of my class. And without the support, the guidance from my sisters, just every single person and entity that makes up this college, I would have never been able to reach my dream of attending Columbia University. That was my main dream, and I was able to do it because of Bennett College. So I would like to thank Bennett College, and I would also like to thank Dr. Phyllis Worthy Dawkins. I met Dr. Dawkins my junior year, I believe. It was an international leadership conference in Atlanta, Georgia, and I got to spend a whole weekend with her. And I remember just watching her move and talk to people and just being so enthusiastic. She carried herself she just carried herself so well. And I just remember thinking to myself, I want to be like her. Let me be like her. So I'm just so grateful. I am so grateful and thankful for you. And I would like to introduce you to come up.
So Shawnee is a great example of the types of students that we admit to HBCUs. We take them from wherever they are, and we take them to the next level. So as you heard, Shawnee was a conditionally admitted student. We admitted her with a 2.3 GPA, and she graduated at the top of her class. Let me tell you about 2 other students as well. At the same time, This past year, in our incoming freshman class, we have about 243 new students with an average GPA about 3.2 in the freshman class. Among those, there are two students I want to talk about. One is Jade Hope of Durham. Jade, are you here? If Jade is not here, but you need to get to know Jade, and she's been featured in some of our videos on television, especially I think on UNC TV. Jade is from Durham, and she enrolled at Bennett with a 5.0 GPA. That's wonderful. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about one of our famous freshmen this year, Jasmine Harrison of Greensboro, who garnered local, state, and national headlines after being accepted into 115 colleges and universities across the country, amassing more than $4.5 million in scholarships, and she chose Bennett College. So throughout this campaign, many people have been there for Bennett College. Too many to name, and in fact, just so many. However, I would be remiss today if I didn't recognize a few individuals by name, people who went above and beyond the call of duty to help Bennett College in our quest to raise a very large amount of money in a very short period of time. If you would, please stand and remain standing as I call your name. Audience, please hold your applause until I have completed the list. And I'm not going to name 11,000 people, please. I'm not going to do that. First, I would like to ask Dr. Nito Quabain, President of High Point University, to stand. Okay, and as you know, and I'll give Nito his time in a few minutes, okay? High Point University donated $1 million to Bennett College. Next, with the members of the Bennett College National Alumni Association, all alumni, please stand. And these alums are led by President Gwen McElrice and Audrey Franklin. I just want to recognize the alums that raised money anywhere from $700,000 to almost $1 million in 55 days. So I want to recognize you. You guys can be seated. Thank you. I would like to also recognize the donors who gave $500,000 to $1 million. So would Mo Green please stand? From the director of Z. Smith Winners Foundation. Thank you, Mo. I would like to also recognize Steve Ritchie, or his representative, CEO of the Papa John's Foundation. Mr. Ritchie may not be here with us today, but I must acknowledge that when I got that call and I was at getting my car serviced because I was almost about to miss my inspection deadline that my husband would have a fit about, Bob, stand up. This is my husband, Bobby Dawkins. Okay? I had to go into the restroom to take that call because there were too many people, so I'm sitting in the John and accepting a half $500,000, okay? Thank you. I will never forget that moment, okay? Would any members of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority please stand, AKAs, please stand. Thank you. The AKAs donated $100,000. And let me just take a moment to talk about their president, Dr. Glenda Glover. Dr. Glenda and Glover are best friends now. She called me on the night I received the bad news from SACS on December 11th. And she has checked on me over and over again. And I would be remiss if I didn't recognize my sorors from Delta Sigma Theta. Please stand. Thank you. Thank you. And I would like to recognize Dr. Beverly Smith. I have so many new best friends. And she put the Deltas to work. And the money has been coming in from regions and chapters across the U.S. I would like to also recognize Dr. Carrie Ann Rockamore. She just read a story that we wrote about the AKA's giving of $100,000. So she went to bed that night and she woke up and she told us this story. And she said, tell me what I should give Bennett College. And so she said she woke up with a number. Where's Danny? Right, Danny? We were listening to the story. And so she said an angel told her to give us $100,000. So this is from a single individual. She's president and CEO of the National Center for Faculty Development and Diversity, which she founded in 2010. So I want to thank her for that gift. She matched the AKA's gift. If we have any representatives from BB&T in the audience, if you can stand. If not, I'd like to recognize the recent gift from BB&T, in which at that time, just this past Friday, Thursday or Friday, they gave us a gift of $100,000 as well. And then Pete Callahan is in the room from Wells Fargo Bank. They gave us a check for $50,000, as well as, let me announce my $50,000 gifts, members of the Alpha Street Baptist Church. Are you in the room? Any alums from that church? We have a lot of alums that attend that church. Alpha Street, under the leadership of their pastor, the Reverend Dr. Howard John Wesley, donated $50,000 to our campaign. And I'd like to recognize Bishop Bryant J. Pierce and any members of Mount Zion Baptist Church to stand. Yes. Mount Zion gave Bennett $40,000, the largest gift in North Carolina, Greensboro area. So I just want all faith-based leaders, because I'm going to tell you, the faith-based group, they led this. I can't tell you how many ministers personally drove up to shake our hands, take our picture. Everybody loves our t-shirt. Everybody wants a t-shirt. And so I am overwhelmed. Even the minister that waited until we came back from High Point University, he drove down from Richmond, Virginia. He drove down on Friday and gave me a gift. Then he came back, I think it was yesterday, and brought us another gift. And so we saw that over and over again. So I would be remiss if I did not recognize the men of Alpha Phi Alpha. If you are present, please stand. The Alphas, thank you. The Alphas, under the leadership of President Dr. Everett B. Ward. And let me just pause and say something about Everett Ward. Everett, at the time we were in Atlanta, we were both on probation. Our membership in SATS was threatened. And he took the high road. I was happy that they got off. But that night, he started calling donors on our behalf. He didn't rest. It wasn't enough that he got off probation. He wanted to make sure we also got off probation. So I do want to recognize Everett Ward. And there are many other people that I would like to recognize. But before I continue, I just want to make sure I don't leave off anyone. I also want to talk about colleges and universities. It is amazing how many college presidents sent in personal donations and either had their leadership team members or the members of their board of trustees to send in personal donations. So I would like to recognize Benedict College, the first one to lead this initiative, where she tweeted in December that the members of her board of trustees had made donations to Bennett College. Then followed by our sister school, Spelman College. The Spelman women have done a lot to promote Bennett College under the leadership of President Campbell. And then another school, she's been with me since December, the president of Trinity Washington University, Tennessee State University. Yeah, my good friend over here, Dr. Harold Martin. Harold, stop. Let's stand up, okay? Not stop, stand up. Yeah. Thank you, Harold. Harold takes my text messages and my late phone calls and just providing words of encouragement. And the alum from FAMU, they have really been pushing for Bennett. And so also the alums from St. Augustine's University. And I can go on and on. We probably have over 100 colleges and universities that have supported us. In terms of organizations, I would like to recognize the Women's College Coalition, the first organization to organize and encourage all their members to make donations. The National Council of Negro Women, led by former President Janetta Cole. The Greensboro Chamber of Commerce, led by Brent Christensen. Is Brent in the room? If not, oh, Brent, please stand up. Brent Christensen. And also like to recognize the co-conveners that activated the community, that activate corporations, foundations, and philanthropists. Along with Brent was Walker Saunders. Is Walker in the room? Or if not, then Derek Ellington. I think I saw Derek someplace. Thank you, Derek. And the Bank of America gave us $25,000. I do want to acknowledge that as well. So the Greensboro community participated as well as the men from Beta Epsilon Boulay. Any men from the Boulay, please stand. The Boulay. Thank you. Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity and Omega Psi Phi fraternity. The Omegas came in near the end, but they came in. Thank you, Omegas. We also received, I've named many faith-based groups, but I would always like to acknowledge my good friend, Reverend Dr. Darren Mitchell, okay? And Temple Emmanuel Church that gave us the money. And the pastor, Apostle Swearingen from the House of Prayer. If Swearingen is in here, please stand. Pastor Swearingen has been all over Greensboro. You guys may have seen us carrying jugs during the MLK. We had no shame, okay? Carrying the jugs, collecting money from people on the streets. That was Apostle Swearingen's idea. I would like to also recognize my good friend. He's been there with me everywhere I've gone. It's weird. Mr. Ladrigas Murray. Please, Ladrigas. Ladrigas Murray. Okay? And if Ted Budd is in the audience, please stand, Ted. Thank you. Ladrigas Murray and Ted Budd were instrumental. And Alma Adams, she couldn't be here today. She had her own press conference in Charlotte, North Carolina, working on another project. But the three of them led our deferment that occurred last year. So I'd like to thank UNCF, particularly Dr. Michael Lomax. UNCF has been a good friend to Bennett College. Thank you. Just a couple of more thank yous. I'm going to get through it, all right? But I have to use this time. Speaking of Bennett, it was only 55 days when members of my leadership team and I sat dejected in Hartsville Jackson International Airport. Well, no, that wasn't the airport, right? That was in New Orleans Airport, okay? In the Delta Lounge with SATS people. We were all waiting for our flight. So the leadership team members at that time came up with the phrase, "Stand with Bennett." So we started on the same day and coined that phrase. Bennett was removed strictly for financial reasons and received no sanctions against our academics, faculty, leadership, or students. Our spirits were low, to be sure, but we didn't wallow in pity. We got right to work, okay? Right there in that lounge. We began strategizing about what we could do. And even before that, Trustee Robinson, Ripberger, and the members of the team at that time, the 2 days before, sat in a closet We couldn't leave the closet when we got the bad news. We just found the closet and we sat in it and for 3 hours and plotted, right, Trail Robinson? And we had to move forward. The Bible tells us that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Well, we couldn't afford to weep for even a night. So right there in the busiest airport in the world, during our darkest hour, the Stand With Bennett campaign was born. And indeed, it was in the New Orleans airport. So we returned to campus and launched aggressive fundraising and social media campaigns, the likes of which Bennett hasn't seen in years. And we were surprised about the campaign jump off. Alumni jumped right in, right away, holding prayer conferences, galvanizing chapters around the country to raise money. Checks started coming in. Alumni started telling their friends that in lieu of Christmas and birthday gifts, they wanted them to make donations to Bennett College instead. Our Student Government Association, led by SGA President Alexis Nicole Branch, started organizing students at HBCUs across the country to donate to Bennett. Miss Bennett College, Brooke Ashley Kane, enlisted the help of her royal court to get queens and kings at other HBCUs to help raise money for Bennett. Bennett Bells left for the Christmas break, armed with letters. We gave them canned letters that they could send to family and friends. The students we gave these letters to, and their parents, and to the faculty and staff, to get their church members and people in their communities to give. The members of my leadership team, please, members of my leadership team, please stand. These are my vice presidents, okay, and associate vice presidents. These are employees in institutional advancement. LaDania Gatlin, Audrey Franklin, Lori Willis, Shakira Jones, Aziz Peregrino Bremar, Julie Beard, Yolanda Johnson, and Krista Hall worked during the Christmas break. And also joining them, if I don't forget, I want to recognize Brianna Carnegie. Brianna, stand up. I'm not going to get you in trouble with your employer. Brianna worked during the holiday. Brianna is one of my daughter's best friends. My daughter Malia Dawkins Jenny is the one that found got the contract or got her friend Jazz Smollett to get her brother Jussie Smollett to help us kick off the campaign. And Brianna and Malia during their Christmas breaks worked with our social media team, the team that just announced, to aggressively get us out in the public. So thank you, Brianna, for coming down to visit us today. Our alumni jumped right in, holding prayer conferences, as I said, and so the checks started coming in. And so what I like to do now is just really, I want every member of Institutional Advancement to stand. Every member of Institutional Advancement, plus Brianna, and also Melissa Watkins. Is Melissa in the room? Melissa, she didn't come today. Melissa joined this social media team. I was asked constantly by Times Higher Education of London, the Chronicle of Higher Education, how did this little school get Bennett College out in the world? It is this team that led that effort, so I am thankful to all of you. So people started sending in $1, $5, $10, $20, whatever they could afford, and then we added the Cash App. I learned a lot about technology. Bennett was being talked about on local and national TV stations, on podcasts throughout the world, on the radio station, in small markets and in large cities, including LA and Chicago. We did not turn down one interview. Bennett College was being talked about also on TV, on stations such as let me just say this, on stations like MSNBC, and then this week we're going to do a segment with CBS. okay? We're being covered in the News and Record. And if John Newsom, my good friend John Newsom, if he's in the room, John, please, he's the writer for the News and Record. John has been a good friend to Bennett, okay? The Carolina Peacemaker, the Greensboro Times, the Charlotte Post, the Country News, Inside Higher Education, diverse issues, and I can go on and on about the number of people that wrote about Bennett College. We were gaining momentum, lots of money was coming in, and then less than 2 months, it's a really short time to raise a lot of money. Throughout the campaign, there were bright spots. As time started winding down, we were still several million dollars short of our goal. And we were thankful for the gift from Z. Smith Reynolds and the Papa John's Foundation. $1 million. You guys remember that day? $1 million in one day, okay? Wow. Once again, Bennett was back in the news again. And I kept thinking, people are gonna wait until the last minute, okay? We see at the last minute, my good friend, Nita, I should call him President Quabain, okay? But we've known each other since I became president of Bennett College, and he would send me these great emails in the morning. I'm impressed with what you guys are doing, text me, and then just this week, everything occurred within 2 days, right? And he told us to show up, and he also had the nerve to say, I'll send a 50-passenger bus for you guys that said High Point. I want that money, okay? So he sent the bus to pick us up, to pick up the students, faculty, and staff. So that gift from High Point University was the largest single amount that we had received to date. So I'd like to bring forth my good friend from High Point University, Nito Quabain.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Just for the record, we didn't send no bus, we sent a motor coach. And I don't want to embarrass Phyllis here among friends and families, but when she was getting her car inspected and she got that call, out of her nervousness, I didn't have the heart to tell you, Phyllis, out of her nervousness, she walked in the wrong bathroom. She went in the men's bathroom. But I covered for you. I covered for you. Oh, Lord have mercy on us all. This is the day the Lord hath made. Rejoice and be glad in it, right? I tell you what. December may have been Friday, but today, Sunday, right here, all day, Sunday today. Yes, sir. So we are privileged at High Point University to have partnered with Bennett in this way. This is not about money. This whole campaign is not about money. I believe that God has ordained Bennett in a very special way to say to the world that there is a reason why Bennett was founded, and there is a reason why Bennett must continue and sustain itself with both success and significance. So whatever amount of money she's going to announce today, around the 5 million number, let me tell you, Bennett College has gotten at least $100 million in advertising across America. So for the news media here today, I want to announce High Point University is about to close down. You Bennett Bells alumni, get the word out. Oh, Lord, I figured out what Bell stood for. It came to me this morning. Bells, with all the talent and skill, Bell stands for brilliant, energetic, learned ladies with extraordinary significance. That's it. Oh, goodness. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't been to a gathering of late when so many distinguished people have shown up. Every one of you is distinguished. This is what happens when I speak. People start leaving after about story of my life. This is why my speaking career went downhill. You see why? You see what's happening? Yeah, I know they have classes there. That's why they're learned students. When I look around this room, Phyllis, and see the support that you have, and you've had it nationally, when I see Congressman Ted Budd here standing with you and by you, when I see presidents of universities like Harold Martin and Frank Gilliam and Randy Parker show up as busy as all of them are to be here in your midst, when I see your mayor cancel a meeting where she was speaking today just to be with you here today, all of this speaks loudly about the support for Bennett. When you see Secretary Aldona Voss, a very distinguished lady, who was a U.S. ambassador, show up to be with you today. This is not a small thing. This isn't about the money they're about to announce. This is about the future of tens of thousands of young men who will enter the hallowed hallways of this university, this college to learn, and who will exit the hallowed hallways to serve the world, make a better place, plant seeds of greatness in the lives that they will cross along their pathways. That's what this is really all about. The Holy Spirit is in this place. And so you know, my blessing at High Point University is that I'm surrounded by people who really care about the world, who care about social justice, who care about diversity and inclusivity. I've been getting letters too, tons of them. So many of them I couldn't answer all of them until yesterday and early this morning. So many people writing me and thanking us for standing by Bennett. This isn't a comment about us. This is a comment about Bennett. So for example, the night before last, right after Friday night, I heard from one of our students. Now, some of our students are blessed. We have all kinds of students at High Point, but to whom much is given, much is required. And so this student wrote me and said, I just finished watching the live stream of the announcement for Bennett College. Wow, I'm so proud to be a member of this family and be a part of this university. You have inspired me, and I will be donating $1,000 this evening to hopefully help make this goal a reality. Then, Phyllis, I got a note from a wonderful young lady. She said, my name is Renee Alston. I'm a proud Bennett Bell alum class of 1992, where I served as Miss Royal Blue and White. On behalf of Bells everywhere, I just wanted to express my most sincere gratitude to you and your HBU faculty and staff. I was moved to tears as I watched the generous donation from my home in Atlanta. I will be there on Monday to shake your hand. The bells will continue to ring. Thank God. God bless you and your family. Are you here, Miss Royal Blue and White, or did you just say that to get me to read your email? I knew it. I'm used to it. Yes. So, Phyllis, since Friday night when we had this wonderful gathering, and she trusted me, she had no idea what we were going to do on Friday. She just trusted me and came over in the expensive motor coach. Came over and we had a wonderful time of fellowship in our chapel. And since that time, I have been inspired by our own HBU family that have gone online and have sent in checks. So, Phyllis, I just want you to know I brought an envelope with me this morning. Yeah, when God is good, God is good all the time. Yeah. So here's the importance work of philanthropy. First of all, you had a president whose faith and courage never wavered. I was not the believer she was. In the presence of preachers, I'll admit that. And ask my Lord for forgiveness. I thought it was going to be a tough road. And every time I talked to Phyllis, she'd say, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. I said, Phyllis, you only got $1.5 million. That's a long way to $5 million. Well, it's going to happen. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Now, I'm a Methodist, So I took another sip of my nice wine. We're not like Baptists. We drink wine with the lights on. But anyway, so here's the deal. The deal is, I wasn't sure, but this president of Bennett College never wavered. She asked Harold Martin and I to co-chair a meeting. We chaired it right here on this campus. All the presidents showed up, all of them showed their support. All of us told our constituencies to support this institution. But here's the power of whatever she announces today. The power is, whether the gift was $1, whether it was $1 million, in God's eyes, it's the spirit, the heart, the soul with which that gift is made. And that's the power of this campaign. That's the power. So Phyllis, I brought a couple of checks with me that came along the way. Here's one for $100 from one of our staff people.
Thank you.
Here's one. You can hold your applause because he's going to get better as I go on. Here's one for $500 from one of our trustees, Bob, that came up this morning to give me this check. All for you. Every time somebody came up, I thought that it had my name on it, but it wasn't. Yesterday, our students in the chapel took up an offering, and here's a check for $650 from students. Then, Bruce Davis, as you know, a county commissioner, former county commissioner, the man almost became mayor of High Point. I always kid Bruce, graduate of High Point University. He and his wife Angela wrote a check for $1,000. Here's a friend of mine. We buy insurance from this gentleman. His name is Clark Gibson, and High Point. He called me up. He said, "Man, we got to stand by you with this challenge gift that you made on behalf of Bennett." Brought me a check for $1,000. Here's one that just absolutely warmed my heart. Phyllis, come up here. You need to be next to me. Here's the deal. We had family weekend at High Point this past weekend. Somehow one of our parents found out about our challenge gift for Bennett College and came up to me and he said, "I'd like to make a gift to Bennett College." I said, "That is wonderful." This couple happens to be from St. Louis. I said, "Here's the challenge." This was literally Friday night after we had our fellowship in the chapel. I said, "But they need the money first thing by Monday morning by 8 o'clock, or it's not going to count toward her Saks event, although she'll take money from here till the next century turns around."
Yes, don't turn down.
And so this family, Phyllis, went on Saturday, found a bank that is open. This is unbelievable. They talked the bank into getting a cashier's check. And they brought me back by Saturday night a check for $10,000. Now, I just want to show you how your support comes from everywhere. I am the honorary chairman of the Wyndham PGA tournament, which is held right here in Greensboro. And I want you to know that the Wyndham tournament this morning brought me a check for you for $25,000. Now, you better be adding up, but just in case you don't, I've already added it up. So I walk every morning with the executive chairman of Old Dominion Freight Line. And they have a wonderful operation here. And we talked in the morning about Bennett College, and he asked me about Bennett, great institution with a legacy and history second to none. And Old Dominion, Patrick Budd is here somewhere. He's the director of community relations. Old Dominion brought us a check this morning for $100,000. presidents of universities and colleges, we think we've got all the answers, Frank and Harold and Randy, to all the questions, but the longer we live, we realize we don't know everything. And Phyllis, you don't know everything.
Thank you.
And here's why. You just announced that BB&T sent you $100,000. I'm on the board of BB&T. And I called the chairman of BB&T. And I said, you got to do more than 100, so he doubled it. Here's $200,000. Here's the deal. When you add up the number this morning, I don't know if you got a banner or what you got going on. When you add up the number, you got to add the checks I just gave her for $357,500. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to have brought with me today the incoming chairman of the board of trustees at High Point University, one of the most distinguished Americans of this generation, a man who served in the White House when it would have been very difficult for an African American to serve in the White House, much less to be advisor to the President of the United States, a man who has just written a book about the civil rights movement, his friendship with Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, a book that you can't put down the moment you lift it up. A man who has been recognized across America and the world as a cheerleader for all causes that are good, lover of all people regardless of their background, ethnicity, or anything else. A man for whom I have enormous admiration, and a person who I'm proud to call my friend and mentor, and incoming chairman of the Board of Trustees at High Point University. Bob, if you'll come up, don't clap, I know you're going to clap for him, but not yet. Come up, Bob. I spoke in this very chapel along with Stedman Graham when we were eulogists for his beloved wife at her funeral. When Sally went on to glory, we came up here and he wanted to have his funeral here because she is an alumni of this college. He's been one of your greatest benefactors and promoters for many, many years. And I want to ask Bob, we made a pledge on Friday. We got to make it right today. So Bob, you're going to help me in just a second. Just want to make sure the check from High Point is real. So let's come up here. I know the Lord will be all right with us standing in front of the altar. Come on. So they can see it.
Danny. Wow, wow. I keep saying wow. Wow. I am overwhelmed. You know, on Friday night when High Point University recognized Bennett with $1 million, Nito said, why don't you come in the back with me? And he actually gave me a check, the actual check. Right? Because I kept texting him, said, you know I need it in the bank by Monday. but I didn't know how much, right? And he kept saying, well, I'm going to present it to you today. So I have never held $1 million check. And I didn't have my purse with me. So I just folded it up and put it in my jean pocket. But thank you. That $1 million mean a lot. I wouldn't even give it to Dan, and he said, you want me to hold it? Just like I gave him the other check. So I said, not this one, not this one. And so I want to thank High Point University and the citizens of High Point for their contribution of Bennett College. Let's give them another round of applause. Okay, so we have one more surprise.
First, I just want to say I was set up. How do you come behind President Cobain and have the fire like this man does? I say, I was set up. See, I didn't think about that when I agreed to do this. But yes, it's truly a wonderful day. My name is Daniel Gatling, and I'm the Vice President for Institutional Advancement at Bennett College. And I have the pleasure of introducing someone very special. Many of you have heard of the song "I'm Blessed" by Fred Hammond. And there's a line in the song that says, late in the midnight hour, God's gonna turn it around. And it says he's gonna work in your favor. So just shout out to him. Well, that's the only way I can explain what happened to Bennett College last week. As we were in the final days of preparing for our campaign to end on February 1st, the staff was working, we were all working, spending a lot of time in the office trying to get it done, and we were also preparing to even go over to High Point University and we were blessed with that. On that day. And while we were running around the office, I was connected by phone to Miss Kwanzaa Jones. And actually her mother was on the phone too, her Aunt Brenda was on the phone, both of them on the phone, right? And in so many words, we got to talking, and she said, I've heard what's going on at Bennett, and I want to do something special for Bennett College. So now get this, Kwanzaa lives in Los Angeles, West Coast now. And we're on the phone, we're working this thing out. And then, I'm not gonna steal her thunder because the story gets even better. I want her to tell you, I'm gonna bring her up to tell you why she did what she did and why it's so significant. But all I can say is that during the hours that followed our call, it was nothing short of divine order, okay? Kwanzaa and her husband, Jose, who's sitting up here up front, we all got together and made some things happening. And at the same time, God was blessing us on the East with High Point University. When he was blessing us, Bishop Pierce, he was also on the West Coast, blessing us as well, and neither one knew about each other. And they both did something special on February 1st and didn't even know what they were doing. So just to let you know a little bit about Kwanzaa and this wonderful family, Kwanzaa Jones is an impact investor and the founder and CEO of Supercharged by Kwanzaa Jones, a global lifestyle and personal development brand that builds your fitness, confidence, and community so you can continuously improve you. Her husband, Jose Feliciano, is co-founder. Doesn't say a lot of words, but he's strong. When he speaks, he's strong. He's a co-founder and managing partner of Clear Lake Capital Group, a leading private investment firm founded in 2006. Through their Kwanzaa Jones and Jose Feliciano Supercharged initiative, the couple invested in individuals, organizations, and early stage ventures across 4 key areas. Those are education, entrepreneurship, equal opportunity, and empowerment. And in addition to this, I know Kwanzaa is going to come and let you know and tell you about the fact that there were 2 Bennett bells that helped shape her into who she is today. So I'm very proud to introduce to you right now Kwanzaa Jones, who will come forward to share her story and tell you some more good news.
Oh, it's so quiet in here. Are you all ready? Okay, my name is Kwanzaa Jones, and I probably don't need a mic because as my siblings know and my family members know, when you grow up in a house with 4 children, you don't need an intercom system at all. If you, what do they say? Closed mouths don't get fed. So if we needed something from mommy or daddy, we made sure that we talked about it and they said, go figure it out yourself. Well, let me introduce you to Jose Feliciano. Come on up. He probably won't say much. This time, Jose is not only my partner in business, but my partner in life also. And what Jose and I have done through the Kwanzaa Jones and Jose Feliciano Supercharged initiative, I'll tell you a little bit about why it's supercharged in a minute. And I'll tell you a little about why we have done what we've done in a minute. But I'll just start with what was done. Because I am a very proud African-American woman who wears my crown. I am a queen that was raised by queens. I am a queen who knows other queens lift other queens. They raise queens, they raise kings, they raise the world, they elevate everything. So with that is the foundation when my mother said, you know, you all should give to Bennett. And she didn't ask this because of what we heard about last week. She asked this maybe middle of last year after one of the reunions. And both Jose and I are graduates of Princeton University. And I said, okay, we'll do something, Mom. What do you want us to do? Do you remember what she said?
1926.
1926. Mommy said, okay, why don't you give 1926? And I thought, that's a very specific number. Well, why 1926? Because I knew the university was founded in 1873. But in 1926 is when it became all female. Before that, it was an institution of higher learning that was co-ed for both men and women. So 1926 held special significance. So Mommy would say, okay, did you make it? Did you do it? Did you do it? And I'm like, Mommy, I will. She says, I was holding her hostage and not going to give it to her until she moved out to California. Let me tell you, she has not moved out to California. That's okay, Mom. We love you anyway. Daddy, who is my father, O'Marion Jones, rest in peace and rest in power, is down here because it's not a gift from just Jose and I, it's a gift from everyone. So when Mom said 1926 and she's class of 1965, and I'm Brenda Wilkerson Hoover, and Dorothy Wilkerson Jones, who's class of 1963, said, okay, Bennett, what can you do? Well, last week we said, Thursday, all right, we can do something because we had not heard about the accreditation status. Mom had not even known, Brenda did not even know at all. So what we did is we called up and just said that we would like to give $1 million. So that's what we did. Danny said, and I feel like we're BFFs now. What happened is, this was on Thursday, and we're on the West Coast, so we're 3 hours behind, and I did not know. I called Mom and Brenda, and I said, when is this over? Is it today? And Mommy said, yeah, it's over today. If you're going to do something, you better do something now. And Brenda said, no, I think it's tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. So we had to call and find out from someone official. So we got hold of Danny and found out it was Friday. And we did what we did. We don't have the big check, but I'm impressed. Your style, go ahead. I am impressed. We do it a little bit differently. We just send out a wire. You know, you can do it from the computer. That money was wired and in there by Friday. So you all have had it already. here. And it really, to me, is one of the reasons we named our initiative the Supercharged Initiative, is because for us, Supercharged is about energy, it's about power, but most importantly, it's about action. And what you all have seen done in this limited amount of time, because let's keep it real, as they say. The holidays came. People took off for the holidays. It was Christmas. It was New Year's. Who was thinking about Bennett? This woman was. You all were. This man was. All of you here were. Because Bennett is that special. So it wasn't just 45 to 50 days. It was more a compressed period of time. Because we know how everything, and especially in academia, things shut down. But you stood up. And you stood up. And you stood up. So let me tell you about the power of words and the power of Supercharged and the power of you and the power of us. There is a poem. You know, I gotta leave this poem for a minute because it's gonna make me tear up. So I'll just say the power of words and I'll end with the line from the poem. We all know what is happening in our world and what is happening in our nation right now. And we all know the power of words, how they can uplift, they can inspire, they can empower, or they can break down. They can divide. And we, all of us here, from our presidents here, to our leaders, to our, come on, Mike, to our congregations that are here, we know nothing can be done when we are divided. It is only when we come together that we can reach higher and new levels together. So, when we hear a few things like, make America great again, and we hear about MAGA and what that means, and we know words have power. So I'm going to say this because it's so interesting, because we're all family here. In October, we had a Supercharged Summit. And at the Supercharged Summit, we talked about, it's all about partnerships, but quite frankly, it's all about power partnerships. This is a power partnership. You all, we are power partnerships. And at that summit, who would have known, I had a phenomenal power partnership in Magic Johnson and Cookie Johnson there, talk about power partners. And I also had Jake and Jazz Smollett, who were there, power partners. We were talking and we were discussing on a panel. Now, for those who don't know, Jake and Jazz are the Smolletts. They're a large family, just like my family. Mom, it's 5 girls, 5 boys. Once you're in our family, you're in our family. So when I heard about what happened to Jussie, and that Jussie and Jake had been standing with Bennett, and that Bennett then was standing with Jussie, that meant all of us stand together, because words have power. And with us having these power words and the power that we bring, it's not about making America great again. America is already great. I am here to tell you right now, it's not about make America great again. It's about magnifying America's greatness again. We magnify, and how we magnify that is through this. There's a poem that goes, and still I rise. And the last line of that poem says, I bring the gifts that the ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope. Dr. Maya Angelou, I'm sorry, I'm about to change it. Instead of slaves, it's of the enslaved. I do not claim that word, because words have power. We didn't choose that. We were enslaved, but look at what our ancestors brought forth. Look at this power, because our ancestors wanted unity, they wanted community, they wanted power, most importantly, they wanted love. And what has been done from everyone, I always say, pennies make millions. So when I hear about the 5 cents, the 10 cents, the $1, the $2, the $20, the $20,000, the $500, the $100,000, the $250,000, all of that has come together because Bennett is magnifying what America can be. And that is great, and that's what we are. We are magnifying the best in all of us. And I'll tell you this thing. I was at the Super Bowl. It wasn't as boring as people thought it was. I thought it was fine. But when I was there was a woman who was there. And it highlights to me a few things. And There was a woman who was working one of the concession stands, and she was taking a picture of her work. And it was a dessert stand. And I said, wow, beautiful display. How long did it take you to do that? And she said, oh, this just took me a day. So now this woman is there. She is in her uniform. She is a beautiful black woman. Now, she has maybe 2 teeth in her mouth. So most people would look at her and dismiss her. Most people would look at her and disregard her merely by what they see. But you see, we know words are power, and who and how we touch in so many ways. This woman touched me, and I said this took a day, and this took 2 days, and this took 3 days. And she had so much pride. So I said, when do you get to rest? And she said, I don't rest. I have 4 jobs. 4 jobs, because my baby is a pre-med student. And my baby, when she calls me and tells me she needs books, and that book is $300, I know there's work to be done. And that is us. So when Mom called and said, well, can you give 1926? And I said, okay, Mom. Closed mouths don't get fed. We asked a little more, we reached a little higher, because I would rather be rich in resources than rich in finances, because you will get what you need. All of us, I rise, you rise, please rise. Everyone here, we need you to rise and stand, because I stand with Bennett, and you stand with Bennett, and you, and you, and you, and you, and we all stand with Bennett, and Bennett stands for what we are, the best of us, the brightest of us, the brilliance of us. It is bold and brilliant. It is you, and it is you, and you. It is all of us. And I do just want to take a moment to ask Mom, and I'm Brenda, these beautiful Bennett bells, and all the alumni say, come on up. Just say hello and wave to everyone, because the way our family was, and I don't know how you all's family was, but it was like, look, I could get in trouble with Mom, I could get in trouble with Aunt Brenda, I could get in trouble with Aunt Zelda, I could get in trouble with Aunt Louise, I could get in trouble with Uncle David, I could get in trouble with Uncle George Jr., who is here too. So all the family, come on up here, because it's not what we gave. It's not what I gave, or you gave, or you gave. It's what all of us gave. Please come, family, everyone who came, because we are the dream. We are the hope. So look at each other. I'm not just talking about my immediate family, that an African-American woman and a Puerto Rican man can do these things, and that you, and you, and you, and all of us, please just look at each other and turn to somebody and say thank you. Thank you. And turn to somebody else and say thank you. Thank you. And turn to someone else and say, we stand with Bennett. We stand with Bennett. And Bennett stands for the best. Bennett stands for the best. And we are magnifying America's greatness again and again and again, and we see it from each and every one of us, because we are all here, and we are all America, and we are all standing on the shoulders of those who have been lifting us higher, and as you climb, you make sure you lift too. So, lift, climb, let's stay supercharged, let's bring out the best, and let's continue to stand with Bennett, because it's not over today. It's not over today. It keeps going. It keeps going. Because from Bennett, we have Mom, I'm Brenda, the family. We have PhDs, we've got Princeton, we have Stanford, we have Wake Forest, we have Howard University, we have North Carolina University, we have HBCUs, all of them went to. We have all of these wonderful places, because it's all of us. All of us together. We are one, and we stand with Bennett.
Thank you.
That was great.
So, we've come to the moment that you've been waiting for. I want to acknowledge my good friends from UNC TV and Travis Mitchell, my good friends from NPR, the HBCU Digest, and also my good colleague from NAFIO, as well as the Thurgood Marshall Foundation. I want you guys to all talk about this tomorrow. So as of today, and let me just say, we're still counting. We are still counting money. But as of today, Bennett College has raised $8.2 million. Thank you for participating in this wonderful occasion. And as we close, since 1960, I want you to know the ringing of the bell has always played a significant role in the life of Bennett College. It signaled the start of the day, weekly chapel, and special meetings or significant events that were taking place on campus. I think you might agree with me that this is a significant event. So after we hear remarks from Ms. Bennett, Brooke, Ashley Kane, Dr. Dawkins will lead our guests to the bell tower where she will ring the bell. Following this, there will be a reception in the Steele Hall Gallery, and I thank you again for being with us today. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Brooke Ashley Kane, a graduating senior political science major hailing all the way from Upper Marlboro, Maryland, and I humbly serve as the 39th Miss Bennett College for the academic year of 2018-2019. I would like to thank everyone for coming here today, for the many gifts we received today. It is a blessing. But I want my Bennett sisters to remember that the bell is our icon and it represents our school. Bells are strong and they will never stop historically ringing. As Bennett Bells, we too are strong and we must hold ourselves to a higher standard and ensure that our ringing voices are heard, not only for the sisterhood within these gates, but in the world we expect to make a difference in. Our bell creed says, "Because I am a woman, strength, wisdom, and compassion are my gifts. Because of my faith, I have the courage to move mountains. Because I am a phenomenal Bennett Bell, I am a leader prepared to shape the future. Whatever I can envision, I can achieve. And Bennett College crown tilts for no one." Thank you so much.